O generation of vipers, who hath warned you of the wrath to come? The horrid monster, of which the strawing is a correct representation, appeared in the county of Essex during the last session of the legislature. Various and manifold have been the speculations and conjectures among learned naturalists respecting the genus and origin of this astonishing production. Some believe it to be the real basilisk, a creature which has been supposed to exist only in the poet's imagination. Others pronounce it the serpent's monocephalus of Pliny, or single-headed hydra, a terrible animal of pagan extraction. Many are of opinion that it's the griffin or hippogriff of romance, which flourished in the Dark Ages, and has come hither to assist the knight of the rueful countenance in restoring that gloomy period of ignorance, fiction, and imposition. Some think it is the great red dragon, or Bunyan's Apollyon, or the Monserum Horrendum of Virgil, and all believe it is a creature of infernal origin, both from its aspect and from the circumstances of its birth. But the learned Dr. Watergruel, who is famous for peeping under the skirts of nature, has decided that it belongs to the salamander tribe, and gives many plausible reasons for this opinion. He says, though the devil himself must undoubtedly have been concerned, either directly or indirectly, in the procreation of this monster, yet many powerful causes must have concurred to give it existence, amongst which must be reckoned the present combustible and venomous state of affairs. There have been, says the doctor, many fiery ebullitions of party spirits, many explosions of democratic wrath, and fulminations of gubernatorial vengeance within the year past, which would naturally produce an uncommon degree of inflammation and acrimony in the body politic. But as a salamander cannot be generated except in the most potent degree of heat, he thinks these malignant causes could not alone have produced such diabolical effects. He therefore ascribes the real birth and material existence of this monster, in all its horrors, to the alarm which His Excellency the Governor and his friends experienced last season, while they were under the influence of the Dog Star and the Comet, and while His Excellency was pregnant with his last speech, his libellous message, and a numerous litter of new judges and other animals, of which he has since been happily delivered. This fright and perturbation was occasioned by an incendiary letter threatening him with firebrands, arrows, and death, if his proclamation is to be credited, which was sent to him by some mischievous wight, probably some rogue of his own party, to try the strength of His Excellency's mind. Now His Excellency being somewhat like a tinderhorn, and his party very liable to take fire, they must of course have been thrown into a most fearful panic, extremely dangerous to persons in their situation, and calculated to produce the most disastrous effects upon their unborn progeny. From these premises the sagacious doctor most solemnly avers that there can be no doubt that this monster is a genuine salamander, though by no means perfect in all its members, a circumstance, however, which goes far to prove its legitimacy. But as this creature has been engendered and brought forth under the sublimest auspices, he proposes that a name should be given to it, expressive of its genus, and at the same time conveying an elegant and very appropriate compliment to His Excellency the Governor, who is known to be the zealous patron and promoter of whatever is new, astonishing, and erratic, especially of domestic growth and manufacture. For these reasons, and for other valuable considerations, the doctor has decreed that this monster shall be denominated a Gerrymander, a name that must exceedingly gratify the parental bosom of our worthy chief magistrate, and prove so highly flattering to his ambition that the doctor may confidently expect in return for his ingenuity and fidelity some benefits a little more substantial than the common reward of virtue. That astute naturalist Lupercustus, however, in the 26th section of his invaluable notes upon the salamander, clearly shews that this word is a corruption of the Latin salamania, expressing the characteristic dislike and almost hydrophobic antipathy of that animal for sea salt. Onege, to use the words of the author, to the properties and virtues of said mineral, as is well known to most folk in dampening the heat of that element of fire, wherein the said beast doth abide, so that if a piece of salt or any marine thing be placed near it, it doth fret it sorely, and enrage it to such madness that it doth incontinently throw from its mouth a venomous spittle, which doth tarnish and destroy all that is of worth or value that it falleth upon. A further and most manifest proof of which deadly hatred appeareth in that, whereas, on and near the renounced Salt Mountain, so called, amidst all the marvels and wonders with which it doth abound, not any of this lizard species hath been discoverable therein. We therefore propose, with the utmost deference to the ingenious doctor's opinion, that the term Gerrymania be substituted for Gerrymander, as highly descriptive both of the singular ferocity of the monster in question, and the influence which the moon, at certain periods, more especially on the approach of April, is supposed to exert over it. A friend of ours has further suggested that there is a peculiar felicity at the present time in adopting the term Gerrymania, as according to his definition, Gerry is derived from the French gere, or the Italian guerra, and that it therefore possesses the double advantage of expressing the characteristic ferocity of this monster, and that magnanimous rage for war which seems to have taken possession of our worthy chief magistrate and his friends. But we mention this merely as an ingenious speculation, being well convinced ourselves, notwithstanding appearances, of the truly pacific sentiments of that great man, whose mild and charitable denunciations of his political opponents have had such a wonderful effect in convincing their reason, allaying the spirit of party and in reconciling all conflicting opinions. You've been listening to Snallygaster Radio.